All right, welcome back everybody to the Blueprint on How to Turn Goals into Achievement podcast for entrepreneurs. I am your coach, speaker, and host, Andres Ruiz. And today we have a guest that I'm really excited to have on the show. She's somebody that I really believe has a very big heart, is a very powerful woman, has a lot of energy. I really like her energy, her presence is very powerful as well. And her name is Brenda Baca, and she is the CEO and partner of Arizona Housing Solutions and the founder of something that I think is really exciting, that I really appreciate what she's doing, called Midlife Single. So I'm really excited to have Brenda on the show. Welcome. How are you feeling today?
I feel great, and thanks for the ego boost.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, it's I really mean it. Like, yeah, I think it's important that we have a presence when we show up. Because first impressions are really important. And the first impression that I got from you was like, you have a great smile, you have great energy, and I think it's really important that we have that attitude, because our attitude can take us places that our abilities can't. So thank you for being on the show. And kind of to get things started, I always like to have my guests kind of brag a little bit about themselves. I think it's important that we brag about ourselves every now and then. And the question that I have for you is, Brenda, what would you say is your superpower?
I think my kindness is my superpower. I've never said that before, and I like to be someone who is kind to other people, and so I think that I take that into every role that I have, whether it be personal relationships or business, and so I appreciate that kindness in myself, and I think that's my superpower when it comes to dealing with other people.
I love that. I love it. And then, and also, I appreciate you saying that you appreciate yourself for that. I think that that says a lot about somebody who has that maturity of saying, you know what, I am proud of myself for being kind. And I totally agree with you that you do have a very kind heart. And I think that if we all could be more kind to people, then we would be able to have more abundance in our life. And I don't mean money, I mean like relationships, just health, overall, just an overall better life. So I really believe that that is a superpower. So thank you for sharing that. But just to get things started, I want to ask you in regards to like what you started this business, but before that, like tell us a little bit about like what you were doing before you started this business.
So prior to starting Arizona Housing Solutions, I was in the real estate business. Before that, I was in property management, working for multifamily properties, and I did some new home sales and that sort of thing. And I worked for a company called Oakwood Worldwide for many years, and they downsized in the Tucson market and shut down the office. And so that's when I decided. It was also at the time when the economy was collapsing, like 2007.
Wow.
So it wasn't easy for a salesperson to find a job at that time,
Mhm.
but I did have clients contacting me, and so I decided to get my broker's license and start my own business. And so I
Wow.
started Housing Solutions, which is a full service real estate brokerage, and we do property management, we do furnished rentals, we do corporate temporary housing, and we do also do real estate sales. So we're kind of a boutique style a real estate company, and we do business in Phoenix, Casa Grande, and Tucson. So we have three markets that we deal with there. And I brought my sister on as a partner in 2016, which I love working with her because she is quite the opposite of what I am. So she's very, into the paperwork, and when I need her to deal with a client or do something a little rough, maybe she's the one I that. And so we make a really good combination team, and we've worked really well together over the past few years. So that's options. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's so courageous of you to do that, to say, I'm just gonna start my business, especially when the market was collapsing, like things were not going so well according to everybody. But it sounds like you had clients reaching out to you, maybe like to work with you, and then all of a sudden you just had this, why don't I start my own company? Like tell us about like the challenges that you faced when you barely got started. Like, were there any challenges that you faced when you first got started with this?
Yeah, some of the challenges I faced were just, because of the economy being rough at that time. And there wasn't a lot of people doing things, but there was still a base of clientele that came to me, that, and it was a small, I'm a small enough business that we can handle that sort of thing. And so I slowly grew it over time, and I did consulting work with other companies. I did what I had to do to make the income at that time, while I developed Arizona Housing Solutions. And so it was a slow and go process. And even now we have our ups and downs. We have different things we have to work through, like the pandemic. But to be an entrepreneur, you have to go into it knowing that you're going to be faced with those challenges, that you will have your ups and downs. You're going to have good things to deal with and bad things to deal with. But you have to know at the end of the day that you have what it takes to get through it and push through it. And you also have to recognize your involvement and what it takes to make those things happen. And even now, in times when, like we're slagging and that sort of thing, I know my business partner and stuff, we're really slow right now. And I know that then I have to kick it up a notch to bring in what business we need to sustain and get through maybe a slower time and that sort of thing. It's all about how you pivot and how you, pivot and accommodate and do the things that you need to do to keep a business going. And it's not an easy thing. It's not for the faint at heart. You have to put time and energy and dedication into your business every single day. If you don't, it goes away. It won't last.
Yeah.
And there's some things that are uncontrollable, like economies and things like this. But even in down times, like I said, I started my business in 2007 in a down time, and I just stayed persistent at it. And so.
Yeah. So I heard, staying persistent, things are going to be up and down. Those are some of the challenges that you're going to face. But for those people who may be facing those challenges right now, or maybe they're thinking about starting, being an entrepreneur, how do you deal with those challenges? How do you overcome them? Can you give us any tips, maybe 1 to 2 tips that you could say, you know what, this is what I do whenever I'm facing any challenges?
I always try to talk to someone else about my challenges and just kind of, luckily in the Tucson and Phoenix community, we've built a pretty good network of partners and things like this. And so I will touch base with them too and see if they're having the same sort of challenge, because maybe it's not anything I'm doing. Maybe it's just something that's happening in the marketplace. So that's been for me. And then I just know that I need to think outside the box. It's time to maybe change things up and be okay with changing things up, because in order to grow and to pivot and to be able to turn, you have to be someone that's able to look at a situation and kind of be a big picture thinker. It's hard because a lot of people are not big picture thinkers. And so you kind of have to look ahead, kind of be ahead of things, of what's going on in the market, know your market, know what's going on, but being able to pivot, being able to like I said, work in your community and talk to other people on what they're faced with and things like this. I think that being part of the community in that aspect is such an important thing, to be able to grow your business, doing the network, making sure people know you're out there, doing all things to help your business grow. My dad told me one time, I was seeking advice to him because I was having trouble understanding, because I'm not a good manager of people. And he said, Brenda, he said, you have to consider that no one's going to care about your business the way that you do. And then that kind of lit a light on me, and yeah, okay, I get that. You're right. I can't depend on other people. I have to, although you do have to search for and find that circle, that does the things you need them to do. And I've been lucky to have that. But at the end of the day, you can't rely on anybody else to make your life happen or make your business happen or anything else. You have to do it yourself. You have to take that step in order to be able to do it yourself. Otherwise, you can't blame anybody for things not working out in your business and things not moving forward, in any part of your life for that matter, unless you take accountability for what you're doing in your business to make things happen.
Yeah. All honestly, you just gave a mini masterclass in those last 3 minutes. Really, I'm serious because like really all that stuff that you just talked about is so crucial as an entrepreneur. And if people could really grasp and understand what you just explained to them about how nobody's going to care about your business as much as you do, but then also the importance of networking and building community in order for you to be able to grow and evolve. Like talk to us a little bit about when it comes to community, how much that has helped you in your business and just how important it is to have that community of people around you.
It's so important because, like I said, it's the community is people you can talk to about the trials that you're having in your business.
Yeah.
Also, just getting your name out there and being known for your niche of business is so important. It's funny. I had a conversation with a lady yesterday, and in regards to my other business, and she's like, "Everybody told me to talk to you," and I was like, "Well, that's great. I'm doing my work," without even knowing it. But yeah, the networking thing is just really important. No one's going to know about your business and unless you are out there doing something about it. You can't keep it quiet. You
Yeah.
have something, be out there and shout it out to the world because the world's listening and is ready to take you in. But you have to put, like I said, you have to put that work in and effort in.
Yeah. And then like I love what you're saying, and you're a very outgoing person. Like when I see you, I feel like you really have this energy of really putting yourself out there. Like where do you feel you learned that from, or were you just naturally this person that was willing to go out there and meet people? Like where did you learn that skill?
I wasn't. I was an introvert.
Okay.
I like I would go to networking events and just stand in the corner and wait for people to come up and talk to me. I was that person for such a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think that I can't tell you exactly when that change came for me. And I would still consider myself to be like an extrovert introvert.
Yeah.
I am outgoing and personable when I need to be, but I also like my quiet time and I like to be by myself sometimes. And I like that part of me as well.
Mhm.
And I think it just, I was, when I was at Oakwood, I became the account executive at one point. And with being the account executive, that meant that I would have to go out and do sales. And it was very, very scary to me to do that. But I just forced myself to do it, And so slowly over time, many years, it didn't happen overnight. It was just the constant repetitive of going out and doing things that I started to gain a little bit more, ability to be able to talk to people and that sort of thing. And so when I go to networking events now, I try to talk to the person I see standing by themselves, because
That's nice.
in that same position I was. And so I try to make an effort to go up to the people that I can see are maybe having a little bit of trouble communicating with other people. And I think that's really important to do when you're out networking, because it's easy to get into the habit of seeing people and talking to just those people, and that there's no point in that. I want to talk to that person in the corner that's not talking to anybody, because that gives them a little bit of self-esteem and a little bit of something that will be like, okay, this isn't as hard as I thought it would be. And talk to people, and I always find that those are probably the most interesting conversations that I have. Yeah. So it's just kind of developing that thing in you to want to learn about other people. When you're out networking, it's not always about trying to sell yourself to other people. That comes in time. No one dealing with someone that's constantly in their face selling. It's about establishing relationships and building relationships. And really the only way that you can do that is to not be selfish about it and be out there wanting to get to know everybody. Regardless of what they do. It's important and it's practice. It's practice too. It gives you that ability to be able to strike a conversation with someone. So now when I go to a networking event, my first inclination is to do that. And then I will just go up to random people like, hi, my name is Brenda. Nice to meet you. what do you do? Tell me about yourself, before I start, spouting out everything I do in my life. So there's that importance of listening and actually genuinely wanting to get to know other people. And that's how people establish those relationships that are more long-term and where people form that respect for you, I think.
Yeah, that was great. Everything that you said right there, if for anybody that's listening, rewind that, because if you listen to that piece, I mean, everything's been like, golden nuggets here, but that part that you just said right there, if you master that, what Brenda just said, you will be successful. Really, that alone will help you like go places that, even if you have all these great abilities, but if you don't have that way of connecting with people, it's going to be tough. And I really believe in everything that you just said of just talking to that person that's alone. I really admire that about you, because that just shows your kindness and your consideration for other people who are not being seen, and you saw them, and now you're building rapport with them, and you're just genuinely wanting to know them, and you build that rapport, and now they're thinking about you whenever they need any type of business. I'm sure they're thinking like, I'm going to go with Brenda because she saw me, she noticed me, and she just wanted to get to know me. So that right there is such a powerful, I consider that a skill set, because not how many people are willing to listen to others, not too many. So, that right there is very, very important to have in business. And so all these things that you've done, then I know that you then decided to start this new endeavor of Midlife Single. Tell us about that, because I'm really excited about that. I've seen you out there putting yourself out there, but tell us, like, what is Midlife Single and what inspired you to start Midlife Single?
So Midlife Single is definitely my passion project. And it's taken a little bit of time to get off the ground because we ran into COVID. But initially, when I came up with the concept of Midlife Single, it was based off the experiences I was having coming out of divorce. So here I was, midlife, never thinking that I would be getting divorced at this age, having my life rattled up the way it was, and then facing a whole new world of getting to know people and dating and all these other things. I mean, when I met my ex-husband, we were, I was 16 going on 17 when I met him. He was my high school sweetheart. And so at that time, there was pagers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Pagers. There wasn't even cell phones, and so to come out into a world of dating where now you're, dealing with online dating, you're dealing with all the aspects of dealing with people through social media, and just being in a whole new world, and going through a difficult divorce and dealing with all the emotions in that, and then also being faced with, you typically will have children that you're, having to realign their lives and things like that. And so I thought there needed to be a resource for people that kind of talked about the issues facing people at midlife. And so that's where the concept was born. And so Midlife Single, to me, the word single isn't necessarily your relationship status. Single is based off the singular you. And, as I've kind of learned things over the years, and learning that having a good singular you base of, self-love and self-worth and all these things, how incredibly important and vital it is to your life to be successful in any aspect of your life, right? And so that's what Midlife Single is. So we're a community of people. We are a social club and community of people coming together to kind of share our stories and lift each other up. And we do that through our website. So we have different topics that you can look at on our website, and we invite people to share stories and information and invite feedback on there. We're just getting off the ground. So our website was actually just released. We also have a podcast where we talk about the various things affecting midlife. And a lot of what we talk about is dating on there, just because dating is such a topical topic, and it's just fun to talk about, just because it's such a crazy scene out there. But we also have our field trips, what we call adult field trips, and I kind of in those wanted to make it fun, like remember when you were in 5th grade and you went on a field trip with all your friends.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that the only way to meet people and establish relationships is in person. Whether this be you're trying to make friends, or whether it be you're trying to maybe find the next love of your life, it's all based around actually getting together with people and meeting people, getting to know them over time, making friends, and doing all that. And we do that through our field trips. So we actually have one of our first field trips tomorrow, and we're going to go watch. We like to support the local community too. So we're going to go watch a Tucson Sugar Skulls game, which is our local IFL team. Yeah. And so we'll do that tomorrow night. And then we are planning some really fun events, in the next few months with that. We also are going to be bringing in some healing stuff too. So, lots of cool, fun things coming. We'll have merchandise, really fun merchandise that we're rolling out. And it's all based around midlife. And, like midlife people deserve, some help too, right? And some fun things to do and all of that. And I really think it's a target market that hasn't really been talked to in this sort of way, so we plan to be out there to help people and also have some fun along the way is kind of our concept. So yeah, that's midlife.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And I think like you said, it's really important that this message is put out there, especially because what I love about it is that it's because you're talking about stuff that you went through and you know what it feels like. So you know that there's people out there that are needing that help, that they're kind of like, I feel alone. But this group, I feel like it's going to open up a door for people to say, wow, I'm not alone. Like there's people out there that have faced this challenge. And like you said, people have been reaching out to you that they're like, hey, you're the person that about midlife single, I need your help. And it's because nowadays people just are having struggles with dating. Like you said, there's online dating, but I love how you're bringing a community of people so that they can connect. And then also what's most important is that they're going to connect with themselves, not just connect with somebody else. Yeah, along the way, they'll probably connect with somebody, but they're going to connect with themselves and they'll be able to find themselves. And, it seems like this is just like a kind of like almost like a spiritual journey for them where they're going to be finding themselves and learning to really, truly love themselves. So
correct.
I love that.
We definitely, it's all about the self-love. And we actually have a t-shirt that we're rolling out that says embrace the singular you with a hashtag self-love, because it's just so important. I recently had a conversation with a gentleman who was kind of blindsided in a divorce situation, and it just devastated, obviously. And so just being able to talk to him and kind of just let him know that there's a community of people that are here to support you. And it's not it's not about dating. It's about, because I think sometimes people hear dating sites and they just don't want to deal with it anymore because it's been so rough. We're actually about helping you heal from some of that nightmare and helping you develop friendships, that's a support group for you, that people that, something for you to look forward to every month and that sort of thing. Because I think it's just so important when you're getting divorced and coming out into the single world to actually spend time working on yourself and getting to know yourself, because, we've always belonged to other people, right? We were, we belong to our parents. We're dating and we belong to another person. We're married and we belong to other people. And we never really take time to genuinely know what it truly, truly feels like to belong to yourself. And I'm doing this with you. Yeah, I'm learning this with you, and to be able to tell yourself that I love you. I love you, Brenda, and you and I do this in some of our conversations. And I can't tell you how powerful it is to say, Brenda, you are worthy. Brenda, I love you. And to actually say it to yourself and mean it. And it changes your mind process over time. It takes time, but it changes how you start to see the world. And I'll tell you, and I know so many of you that are watching out there that have been through divorce and maybe are thinking about divorce or whatever, you're in this cloud, and it's just so important, instead of jumping from one relationship into another, to actually take time to get out of that cloud. It's like, I can't even tell you that once you start to get through this cloud and really realize that you are worthy of something better, and that you should have that self-worth and self-love, it changes your life. It changes your life in so many different ways. And it's not just in relationships, it's also in your business relationships and how you're doing business and functioning there, because I think so many of us struggle in that capacity as well, where we're just I know I was always a people pleaser. I always had a people pleaser mentality, I was always about making sure that that person was okay and that they're not being hurt, or I was doing what that client needed me to do, even though I was maybe uncomfortable with doing that thing, or this relationship wasn't making me feel good, or wasn't in my best interest, or whatever, So it's incredible to be able to come out of that cloud and say, okay, I'm starting to see what this means actually in my life and how it improves it. So.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to acknowledge you and say I'm extremely proud of you for all the work that you're doing and how you're evolving, like, and just loving yourself more, knowing your worth. That really excites me for you and for the future. And because when you see your worth, when you love yourself, the people that are going to be around you, you're going to be able to help them transform as well, because we can't give what we don't have. But if we have love, if we have self-worth, now we can also help other people have that self-love and have that self-worth, because now we're shining our light. And when you shine your light, you allow other people to shine theirs. And that's what you're doing. And that's why I'm really proud of you. And I'm excited for you to what's to come. For Midlife Single, it's going to be amazing. It already is amazing. And but I just can't wait to see what what the future holds for you, which I know it's going to be a lot of abundance and a lot of exciting experiences for you. But Brenda, so before we get going here, I want to ask you, like, can you let the audience know how they can work with you, whether it's with your company, with Arizona Housing Solutions, or if they want to join, like be part of this Midlife Single, this Midlife Single, organization that you started, like how they can be a part of that. Let us know, and then give us your contact information for anybody that wants to work with you.
So for Arizona Housing Solutions, it can help you if you have a property that needs managed, or you're an investor that's looking to get into the real estate game. We do furnished rentals on the corporate housing side. So we can really be a total solution, especially for investors that are looking for ways to maximize the income on their properties and that sort of thing. And you can reach me there. My website is azhousingsolution.com. You can send an info to our general email box. It's info@azhousingsolution.com. And if you go to the website, you'll get my number on there. And for Midlife, you follow any of our social media pages, where you can look us up at Midlife Single, and on Facebook. We're also we do a lot of fun things on TikTok, and we are on Instagram and Twitter as well on there. You can go to our website there at midlifesingle.life and check that out too. Like I said, that just rolled out. We have some things that we need to tweak on there, but it will be a really great platform for community forums and stuff on various topics that are affecting us at Midlife.
Love it. Go ahead.
Midlife and older. Actually, I consider midlife to be kind of like 35, 40-ish and above. So if you're 85, and you want to talk about issues facing you, we totally invite you to be a part of our group. And we will be rolling out Midlife Next Gen too, just to throw it out there. Okay. Midlife Next Gen will be geared towards that 25, that like probably like 18 to 35-ish age group. They need our help too. And I think that, so many of us in the Midlife Single group have kids that age. And so we're really trying to find ways to work together and understand each other and the various things that we're all going through together. So
I love it. Good stuff. And then just to like close things out, for anybody that's thinking about getting that business started, getting that business rolling, that they've been thinking about it for maybe years, but they have just not started, can you give us like anywhere from 1 to 3 tips on just those people to inspire them and to motivate them to get started? Can you just give us 1 to 3 tips? Like for those people that are on the fence that have been thinking about starting a business, what tips would you give them?
So my first and primary thing would be believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You can do this. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself, because there will be noise that comes into your life, and people will distract you. People will, unfortunately, a lot of times when you're in that mindset of entrepreneurial mindset, and you're wanting to do better things in your life, there will be people in your life that kind of squash you down and say, no, you can't do this, or you shouldn't do this, and whatever. So you really have to be cognizant of that, and push those people aside. You don't have to be mean or anything like that, but just know that they're affecting your ability to be able to believe in yourself and push forward. And you just really have to be focused. You have to, the advice would be to make sure you're getting out there and making people know about your business, because if you're not doing that, how do people know that you exist? So that would be my other piece of advice.
Love it. Love it. Great stuff. Thank you for sharing that, Brenda. And thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate you. This was like a 30-minute masterclass. Guys, watch this again. If you take notes and you apply these things, you will be successful. So I just want to say thank you again to Brenda, and thank you for watching the Blueprint on How to Turn Goals into Achievement podcast for entrepreneurs. We will be seeing you on the next show. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.